It's still buzzing when people come in, huh?
Yes, it is.
I thought we fixed that.
It's going to do that for a while, Terry.
Okay.
We need a new meeting ID to cancel that.
Okay. Okay.
Wow, I made it in.
Right. While people are buzzing in, it's 1 o'clock or it's 1 o'clock. Sorry, I just got off another meeting that I'm trying to regroup from. The one thing that I really want to remind everybody is all of you were sent from your technical assistance providers information about our June trainings, and that's our summer academy that was normally planned for June, for late June. We will be doing this in a 4-week Thursdays 1 to 2:30 sessions. And all I want to do is remind you that we really want to encourage, we're expecting all the transition specialists to join those meetings. And I really want to encourage you to talk to your supervisor, your administrators, your VR counselors, teachers, if they can join it. It's going to give a really good look at YTP and the future of YTP and where we're going. I think that as you'll learn kind of the new systems change that YTP is going from. So all I wanted to do is remind you to please reach out to any of us if you have questions about it, but please register. And I think you're gonna find it a really, really good, great 5 hours of training. That's all I have for announcements, unless any of you guys can think of anything else, the rest of you.
Well, regional training dates. The dates are, I know when Pendleton is October 15th. Let me look. I have them in my calendar, but I don't have that up yet. But I think most of you probably got emails from
I have it here, Terry, if you want me to read them.
Oh, could you read them? Thank you.
For sure. Salem is October 5th. Roseburg, October 6th. Seaside, Cannon Beach area, October 8th. Bend, October 13th. And Pendleton, October 15th.
And the training is what Adrian asked the question. I missed the beginning. What's the 5-hour training? And that's our summer academy. And we sent out the invitation to you in June. The community of practices in June 4th, 11th, 18th, and 25th. So you got a registration, and that's the training.
And if you didn't, it will be on the website in very short order.
Mm-hmm. So I think Lisa, and does anybody else have any announcements before we get started with soft skills with Lisa and Toni Depeel? Okay, Lisa.
Okay, so Toni and I are going to talk to you guys a little bit about teaching soft skills, or what we like to call professional skills rather than soft skills. And we have listed some things of how we have done it virtually. But then there's also, we do a lot of this in person too. So, in the future you can use it in person, but virtually now is great as well.
So I'd like to go ahead and introduce myself, Lisa. I don't know if everybody knows me. Hi, everyone. I'm Toni Depeel. I work for vocational rehabilitation as the pre-employment transition service coordinator in the Portland metro region. And so I cover the counties all the way from Hood River to Clatsop, Columbia, Multnomah, Washington, and also Clackamas counties. Hey.
So just to start off, this is a list of the 10 most common professional skills or soft skills. And so we just kind of want to talk through with you guys, and you guys can chime in. These are like the general themes, but what kind of things go under each one of these? What kind of ideas go under each one of these? So for instance, communication. What does that entail? What kind of skills do they need to learn underneath communication?
Shall we take stuff from the chat or?
If there's chat, they'll read them out, but people
Awesome.
can unmute themselves and say, or they can type it in the chat.
There's one from Kim Miller. She said good listening skills.
Yes, listening skills is great. Active
Written
listening.
communication and verbal communication.
Right, written communication, verbal communication. What else?
Self-awareness.
Yeah, having confidence when you talk.
Body language.
So yes, nonverbal communication is a big one that we'll talk a little more about later. Any other ideas?
One that no one has mentioned is, oh, we got eye contact in the chat. And then how about listening skills? Being able to listen. Did anybody say that?
Yep, that's in the chat.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Also, constructive criticism. So, you know, being able to accept that constructive criticism and maybe even provide it to other people, right? Learning how to appropriately provide that. So those are good. What about teamwork?
Flexibility.
A lot of different things apply, and follow through, I think, is really important.
Follow through. And what was the first thing you said?
A lot of the things that we've already spoken about, you know, kind of apply, I think, as well. All the communication skills that are so important with,
Right.
your, you know, and communicating with your team.
Yeah, very good. So the collaboration, the cooperation, active listening.
Common goals is on the chat.
Yeah. So having that, sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Having that idea exchange and having those common goals, creating those common goals together. How about adaptability?
I think that's a huge one.
Say more about that.
Go ahead.
I just think that students can learn how to adapt to certain situations, whether it's in employment or not, you know, and just in life. And I think that's hugely important, and especially at work, because there's usually like a, you know, a common theme or a goal and all the other things that you guys have been talking about. And to be able to adapt into that and become a part of that is one of the most important things ever.
Right. Yes. Yesterday I was working with a student, and we were talking, she has some mental health things that she's dealing with. And we were talking about the difference of being angry at home and how she deals with that versus the job place where she's going to be at. And the discussion was, how would you go about taking care of that at work? And it was interesting. She was able to compartmentalize it and say that I wouldn't do it at work. Well, of course we would have to wait and see what happens, but it's a good thought to think about.
Huge.
I think also it's all about, I mean, what are we all having to do right now? We're adapting to being virtual. So having that flexibility, being open-minded, having the motivation to try to find other ways to do things, right?
Being able to listen to what other people, you know, how they feel about things, their ideas.
Right.
Right.
That's good. What about problem solving?
Well, this is problem solving, what we're doing right now. I've never presented with Lisa virtually.
That is true. So kind of brainstorming ideas is a way of problem solving, right? Which is what we're doing currently. What else?
I think someone in the chat said active participation, doing your share of the task.
Mhm.
Naomi says look for solution, and Christine says critical thinking.
Yes. So logical reasoning, critical thinking, making those observations and trying to persuade your point of view to other people. I think the biggest one is decision making, and a lot of students, struggle. A lot of adults do too. So struggle with decision making. So helping the students figure out how, different ways that they can figure out different decisions, whether that's helping them learn how to do pros and cons lists, those kind of things.
Yeah, one of the other people in the chat says considering all sides to a situation.
Yes,
So,
for sure.
one more, knowing your strengths and using them to problem solve. And here comes another one. Helping the students figure out how to not get stuck when making a decision.
Yeah, those are all great. How about creativity?
Imagination and ideas.
That's great. Imagination,
Yeah.
inspiration, having those ideas.
I think I just read an article that creativity is one of the top characteristics that employers are seeking right now. Not surprising.
Why?
Well, because everybody's having to relearn stuff. Though I gotta
Right.
say, from the
Yeah.
moment I graduated college, every job I've thought, they didn't teach this.
They didn't teach me
in
this.
school. So you have to figure it out with using all of these other skills, right?
Right.
Yeah. And here we all are doing that again.
Right.
We have problems every day at work, and if you're able to think of a way out of that problem, that's important.
Yes.
And part of that is allowing your mind to go, what if, how about?
Yeah, so questioning and reframing the situations that you're in to try to figure out a solution, experimenting with things to try to be creative and see what works and what doesn't, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's some more things in the chat. Thinking outside the box, finding your passion, transforming ideas and thoughts. You guys are really brainstorming. This is good. So during an interview, somebody wrote, know how to answer the question. Explain to us a situation where you had this creative thought to get through it. Oh yeah, that's really good to teach students how to do that. More than just the answer, right? Give us an example of when you did it, and then expressing your ideas and enthusiasm. Was somebody else's.
These are great examples.
I know everybody's really chiming in. That's nice.
How about work ethic?
Oh, the work ethic.
Integrity.
Yeah. What is integrity though, right? Everybody, we need to learn what that is. Being reliable, Naomi mentioned, and then demonstrating initiative. Talk about the paycheck and how it correlates to going to work for each shift. Oh,
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Having that discipline and commitment to the job is another important aspect.
Yeah, perseverance, going even though you don't want to go. That's something. I have that too sometimes.
Yes.
Especially when the kitchen's right there and the laundry.
For sure.
But we want to strive to make them want to go, that they actually want to go. You know what I mean? Like, I get to go to work today.
Exactly.
Yes, that is important. And part of that, like somebody said, is going through the check and having them realize that, you work and you get this for it. It's not instant gratification. But part of it is picking jobs and tasks that they really like doing so that they want to go to it.
Mm-hmm.
What about interpersonal skills?
I think that's huge. It's part of the process of being able to adapt and whatnot to your situation at work. It's just those tiny little skills that some people have and some people don't have. And some people need a little bit of help with them, but I think they're some of the most important things you'll ever do.
Right. I think it really ties in a lot of the communication things that we talked about. I think right now for me, having humor is like one of the biggest interpersonal skills, because if you can't laugh about things, like you get too stressed out and not being able to tolerate stuff.
I think active listening is really good too. I think we tend to start to tune out, but and for kids especially, it's like when you're there, you've got to be present and put that smile on your face and go with it.
Right.
Kim from Seaside said, practice how not to overshare while in the break room. Those are some of the, we've
Yes.
all, And then someone else says, ability to work well with others. And then there's one more, self-awareness, of course. And then being cordial and having good manners and eye contact and greeting. Teaching others how to not cross the boundaries, right? Not everybody wants you to cross that boundary. Problem solving, decision making, and assertiveness. And then the last one is showing physically that you are listening and that you understand.
And maybe adding to that, having empathy for whatever the person might be talking about. And all of these skills help us with networking, correct? Like if you are not being sincere and whatnot, you're not going to have a easy time of networking with others and building that relationship with people. How about time management?
Teaching being organized, teaching the students how to organize their life, their day, things that are important.
Yeah, organization is a big thing in time management. If you can't be organized, you can't stay on topic and stay focused, right?
Right. Someone says keeping a schedule, learn how to use your cell phone alarms and be on time, and actually even at work, knowing when your breaks are and when to go back, and then ability to meet the deadlines and prioritize, know where you need to be. You guys got great answers here.
Goal setting and prioritizing those things so that you can reach those goals that you need to.
I like this one here. It says, give themselves a little extra time just in case something unexpected comes up. I know that's something I had to really try to do more of when I started working in Portland. I wasn't used to all of the driving, and nothing is, you just don't know. You just never know.
Yeah, so it's important maybe to teach the students how to like backwards plan of when they need to get up with adding in that extra time before work so that they aren't late for work, right?
Yeah.
Hey, Lisa and Toni, one thing I was thinking about too is like so many students thrive in school where there's so much infrastructure and just structure in general, bell schedules, reminders, and like all of us are getting that little experience of all those things go away and how we sort of go, what day is it? What time is it? I better set an alarm, or I better print out my calendar every day, or whatever it might be. So it's just a fun thing to think about when students leave the school system and they don't have any of that. What will they rely on?
And there's so many right now that don't feel they have that structure and so much time. So, yeah.
So maybe helping them plan that structure for themselves, right? And leadership. What's within leadership?
Well, I think people can lead from anywhere, right? It's just the willingness to speak up when you care about something, or if you're confused, or you have questions, or you want something to be different or better. And I think we all have that capacity.
For sure.
And we can cultivate it in our students, right? It relates to that self-confidence.
And supporting others, leading others.
Yeah, I think going along with that, supporting others, having that trust that whatever you say is going to be accepted and heard, right? Not judged.
Yeah,
having that empathy again.
Someone wrote in the chat, this would be a good pre-eds activity, learning about leading. And I was thinking, even when you said that, it would be great to like talk to students and say, what do you think makes a good leader? And when you're following somebody, what makes you want to work with them, or what makes you want to be with them? So Oh,
Yeah.
this is good. If they are aware of leadership, it could help them get promotions.
Oh yeah. And then attention to detail. What goes under attention to detail?
Has anybody got anything? Oh, let's see.
How to finish a job that they've started. All the, paying attention to all the things that need to be finished to consider the job done.
That is a great example. Yep.
One of
Having
the
that critical observation skills
Right.
so that they can see that they completed everything how it should be completed, right?
Filling out a timesheet accurately.
yes,
Yes. So that you get paid accurately.
right. Let's see, pride in how our job actions affect people and the business. And then somebody also wrote, make lists and check them off. I have noticed a couple people have put some links in the chat, so you guys can save those too. We'll get those. Let's see, devil's in the details. Somebody wrote that.
Yeah.
I
So
unmuted myself. Can everyone hear me?
yes.
Yeah.
One of the things that I've noticed is that so much of what they're being influenced by is happening in 30 seconds or 1 minute on social media.
Mhm.
And they're seeing the end result. They're not seeing all the work that went into that. A TikTok video doesn't just happen. That takes a lot of planning. So that would be another good pre-ets is like, well, we need to make a plan and we need to follow it through and here's the end result.
Right.
But that kind of went back to the leadership question, but I've just noticed that a lot. They're like, I want to be like Drake or whatever. So, or somebody else I don't understand. But it's because they're seeing the end product, not all the work that went into it.
Right. I think that relates to a lot of them. It relates to the time management, making sure you're prioritizing and making a schedule. It goes to problem solving, creating that goal and that plan, being creative, making sure you have attention to detail and following through with all of that. So having these professional skills, there's a lot that goes into all of these that we have to try to teach students, which is kind of difficult at times. Okay. So Toni and I like to start every class that we do with students with an icebreaker. And we don't have to do one today, but I do have a list so that I can send out. I created a list of a whole bunch of icebreakers that can be done virtually. But it really helps to get the students talking right from the get-go so that they are participating throughout the whole entire activities that you guys are doing.
Melanie and Kat, I think both of you are on there. This is Mary Jo, and Melanie and Kat are down at Southern Oregon ESD, and they were just showing me their Google Classroom and how they start these off with icebreakers. Can you guys talk about the effects of that since you've been working with kids and how that goes?
Well, we started a job club. This was our 3rd week, and just to kind of get the students in there and introduced, we do an icebreaker to help them talk and want to show their picture or their video while they're up. And it's been working pretty well so far.
Yeah, so the icebreaker actually helps them open up, and then, they'll start sharing. I noticed that also with similar to the Maggie classes, you're supposed to do mindfulness activities, but many times I'll do mindfulness or icebreaker, similar, thought process. And it really sets the class off in a good starting point that everybody's wanting to participate.
Yes.
Hopefully.
I just wanted to say thank you, Lisa, because I think I got the list from you, so I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
We used to we'd start off every one of our transition classes where the kids could pick out of a box with something that you could get for teenage questions in this box. And this class started out with one person could pick it out, and then we would talk about it. And it really set the tone for the rest of the class. So I think this is icebreakers or sharing or something at the beginning is a great way to engage kids.
For sure. Tony? You wanna
Oh,
go?
sorry, I can't see you. So
Okay.
you realize how much you read people by seeing
Body
them.
language. Yep.
So yeah, so work readiness interactive activities. So these are the things that we're doing. I don't have my notes in front of me on this. So it's a little bit, oh, here we go. That's what was next. Okay, so this is one of the things that you can do virtually. I was trying to think, how can we make this more simple? And a lot of this goes along with learning how to introduce yourself, but choosing something basic so they don't feel like that we're prying, right? Many of you guys know your students pretty well that you're working with, but when I'm working, a lot of the times I may have only met them once or twice, and I just thought this was, tell me what your favorite snack is. So, hey, anybody out there want to introduce themselves right now, and unmute yourself and tell us what your name is and your favorite snack. We thought that might be fun. Mary Jo, tell us your name. Tell us your name and your favorite snack.
My name is Mary Jo, and my favorite snack is
Almonds.
No, I was gonna say M&Ms because I'm craving them and trying not to eat sugar. So
Okay.
I remember, Tony, you did something similar to that at the training for the person-centered plan as an icebreaker. Do you remember that? Where you had to bring something and introduce yourself. Remember that? I think it's really similar.
It is.
That's
so, go ahead. I'm sorry. Oh,
No,
it's really, it's good to, well, pre-planned. We pre-planned that. Have the students bring something that is of meaning. It could be, reminds them of something. You can choose a category even of what you want them to do. But also, I even had brought my own little bag in once, and I have, how you collect little things. I mean, I had rocks, and I had a banana, and I had the little statue banana and a turtle, just different things, something with a music note on it. And I had laid them all out, and I think I did this at a conference. Some of you might have been in there. And I had some people volunteer to come up, and they were supposed to select something off the table that had meaning to them. And it's just kind of random even. So they're looking at it and they pick it up, and then you have them share. And it was amazing what people will, it's really good. It's a fun activity for adults actually. So
yeah, and that's a good way to see how we all connect too. How, we share common interests. I like that idea a lot.
Yeah. Thank you for reminding me of that. So now we have a short video. This is a great video. And it's off of Snag-a-Job. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Snag-a-Job. Oh, hey, look, I can see myself. If you're familiar with Snag-a-Job on YouTube, but there's a lot of great basic videos on there that you can use. And this one is interview. Hopefully, here she goes.
In this week's video, we're going to go over the do's and don'ts of a mock interview. That's coming up. Hey guys, I'm Kim with Snag-a-Job, your #1 source for hourly jobs, and welcome to our weekly advice show. Let's face it, getting a job interview is really exciting, but it could be a little bit nerve-wracking. Like the saying goes, practice makes perfect. So setting up a mock interview before your job interview is a wonderful way to really make sure that you'll bring your A game. So here are a few do's and don'ts of a mock interview to help you out. Do, dress appropriately. Wear professional clothes that you would wear to a real job interview. Don't just roll out of bed.
Yeah.
Oh, geez, what time is it? Oh, all right, let's get this mock interview over with.
Do, prepare like you would for a real job interview. This means bringing copies of your resume and preparing interview questions and answers.
Based on the qualifications for this position and my previous work experience, I think I'd be a great fit for this position.
Don't wing it.
Biggest weaknesses? Wow. Probably my biggest weakness is having too many strengths.
Do, feel free to start over. Now is the time to practice your answers, so if you stumble or make a mistake, gather yourself and start over.
my biggest strengths are I have a strong attention to detail, and let's just start over. Can you ask me that one again?
Don't freak out if you made a mistake.
Well, based on my previous work experience, oh gosh. No.
Do take feedback constructively. Learn from the feedback you receive so you can better prepare for your real job interview.
Thanks for pointing that out. I would have hated if I did that in the real job interview.
Don't take it personally.
I think you could make better eye contact.
What? Me? You weren't even looking at me the entire time. You need better eye contact.
Doing a mock interview before the actual event will help you gain confidence and give you any mistakes that you might need to work on. You'll be that much closer to landing the job. So thanks for joining us today. If you like this video, please let us know so we know to keep making videos like this. And if you have any questions about your job search,
She's awesome. She's so real. And I've had kids, you know, I've asked kids that. I said, what do you think about her? And they're like, she's pretty real. I like that. So she's a good one. So they have a lot of other, need to make my screen bigger, a lot of other videos. So if you guys want to check those out, but I've used this interview one. I like some of the responses. They make me laugh. So.
Okay, sorry.
So nonverbal communication. So, oh, and look, oh, there we go. Thank you very much. I was like, wait a minute, my notes. So you guys know, especially right now, Lisa and I were even talking about this yesterday. You guys can't see my arms unless I lift them up higher. I'm short and I think I'm sitting kind of low, but there's such a difference now that we're doing so many things online. But yeah, so anyways, I think what you say? Okay. Yeah, I think I agree.
I think that having this is really important to talk to the students about the fact that 93% of what you say comes from your body language, and it's harder when you're doing it virtually.
Right. And so these are all the things that you have to think about in nonverbal communication. And as we know, even the volume of your voice can be like distracting for people, but we don't need to read all these, but all of this you guys are working with students on. So yeah. So this video here, so this is really cute. If any of you guys could pick one of these people out on here that you feel that you are right now, or that you're thinking you are, and I don't want anybody sticking their tongue out at me, but this is one of those videos that talks about nonverbal communication, and it's another really good video. So we're not going to show it. We're actually doing really well. So part of the lesson that we do is I've added the thinker pose, somebody said. So I've added a lot more pictures now that it's gone, you know, virtual, because we were doing like charades and things like that with the students, and with emojis and words. But so go ahead, Lisa, we can just kind of go through these.
Well, we can say, so right now, like with these pictures, instead of us being together and the students used to pick emojis and they had to act those out and people had to guess what reaction or emotion that they are doing, then the students have to look at these pictures and decide what emotion is this person expressing in this picture. So what do you guys think?
Chat. Happiness.
Yeah.
Oh, happiness.
Yeah.
Joy.
Joy.
Happiness, joy. Yeah, that's great.
Comfortable and content.
What would you say, Angela?
Comfortable and content.
That's good. Content, comfortable. How about this one?
This kid looks a tiny bit frustrated.
Just a tiny bit frustrated.
Wow. Like if he had a longer pencil, it probably would have been busted, right? End of his rope, too much, overwhelmed.
How about this one?
I don't think it's frustrated. Somebody just typed that in there. Content, that's good.
Content's
yeah. I had somebody, because initially you look straight at this picture of the couple, they're happy, but somebody was looking up at the moon and the trees, and they were just feeling very much a solitude and peaceful. There we go. Yeah, that's what they were saying it was. So
that's a good one.
Comfort. Somebody wrote comfort.
And this one?
Really? No kidding.
Shock, shock,
Kinda
shocked, shocked. Surprised.
Yes.
I know sometimes we take these things for granted, but we have a lot of students that we're working with that can't read those expressions very well. So this is really good. Envy, jealous. This is what are you serious? That was, that was previously. What the? Oh.
Yes.
And then on the other hand, there's confidence. The woman holding, she's like, oh.
True.
Yeah.
There's more than one thing going on.
You're right.
How about
this one?
Little girl?
Yeah, I'm bored. Hopefully none of you are doing this at us right now. You are. Whatever. Okay. Ugh. Here's a good one. And many people are struggling with this right now, I think, too.
There's a lot of words that can come out of this picture.
So we have despair, sadness, depression, overwhelmed, anxiety, so over this, loneliness. That was good. Loneliness, lonely, hungry. Ooh, right?
Could be angry.
Isolated.
Angry. Yeah.
Angry.
Isolated. Yeah.
Fatigue. We had somebody write fatigue. So what we've done with this one is instead of, because we were doing like drawing stuff out and that, but what's great with this picture is we took one of those word art things and we put the words into the word art. I don't know if you guys have used that. It's on the, internet. It's a program that's free, but this is what we decided we would try to do. So part of this is, of course, nonverbal facial expressions. We have to figure out what people are thinking, and they're not speaking it. So we all know that when we go to work, that there's, the whole communication thing is you may be even just walking by somebody and you can read what's going on. So one of the things we have them do is act out the emotion with the word. Choose a word from the picture and don't tell me what it is and act it out. And I just did this with a student a couple days ago, and she was really receptive to it. So it was kind of fun. And I did it with her. I don't just, have them do it. Of course, I always love to play. So
it's fun to do in groups too. So you have like 2 different groups if you're having, split them up into however many equal people, and then have them act it out for their people in their group and see who can get the most right.
Right. So when we're in person, we've taken the words and I wrote them, typed them up and laminated them and then sliced, cut them up with the paper cutter, and then we put them in envelopes. So when we do group work, so we do that with the emojis and the words. So you have little packets that you can just keep. So active listening. So this is a fun, Lisa, you want to go and explain this one? This is a fun activity that we've done. Lisa's really good at explaining it.
Active listening, this activity we have a sheet, a list that has about 25 different jokes on them. And what happens is you're in pairs and the first person says the joke. The second person has to rephrase that joke back to the first person. So it shows that you're actively listening to all parts of everything that they're saying. And then the first person says the end of the joke. And so this is just a really good exercise and they really like doing it. Some of the jokes are kind of knee slapper dad jokes, as some of the students like to say. But it is good and it makes them listen to each other. So we'll give an example. Toni.
I thought you had the joke.
Oh, I have jokes if you want me to do them.
Yeah.
We do this in clowning. I don't know if all of you know, but Toni and I are both clowns for the Rose Festival. And so this is an activity that we do during clowning too. So it's just a lot of fun for the students to do. So let me see. I'll find my favorite one.
And I like Lisa to do the joke because I don't remember jokes very well. And so then I can listen and repeat. So I just don't have that, some people have that memory for those kinds of things. So
hey, Toni,
why
don't ants get sick?
I don't know, Lisa. Why don't ants get sick?
They have little antibodies. So you see, I said the joke and she repeated the whole entire joke back to me saying, I don't know why, blah, 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 whatever the joke is. So that shows the active listening.
Yeah, and I think then you can relate it back to interview skills and trying to remember what, because I don't know, so many interviews I've even sat in and I'm just like, I'm so stressed out. I hope I can remember what they just asked me. So it's a good practicing skill for interviews too, so.
There's something in the chat. It said, my YTP student started a new job and is struggling with relating to coworkers all wearing masks. Nonverbal communication is a challenge with masks on.
Yeah.
Yeah, with facial expressions, that's for sure.
I had somebody say yesterday, I was reading on Facebook, a friend of mine was in the store and the lady was not following the arrows, an older lady, and anyways, she tried to help her understand, and they were really having some trouble with communication because they couldn't really see each other's face, mouth stuff. So yeah, something to take into
consideration. It's really paying attention more to like eyes, because if you're smiling, you can still see it in your eyes that you're smiling, but it is a lot harder because you don't see most of your facial expressions. Time management. So this is an activity we do when we are with them as well, but we were thinking last night that this could easily be done at their homes too. You can adapt it to home. So basically when they're together, they create teams and they have a list of all the different activities that I'll show you in a second. And they have to prepare an action plan of which ones they're going to do. They have 1 minute to review and prepare that plan. And then they have 5 to 10 minutes. Generally, we give them about 5 minutes because that seems to be long enough to do all of the activities that they had planned to get the most points. And so whoever gets the most points wins that challenge. And then you talk about like why they picked certain tasks over another after the whole thing is done. So debriefing, like what they prioritized and why they prioritized different things. So our activities are these. This is the sheet that they get, and it says, that they do, I don't know why it's different colors, but.
I don't either.
I just put it in as a chart, and this is what it made it. But if they do 25 jumping jacks, then they get 5 points. If they do a conga line around the room, they get 10 points. But this could easily be like transformed into kind of like a scavenger hunt at their house. So like you just make up things, find a banana for 5 points, or find a book about a dictionary for 50 points or things like that. So you can adapt it.
Played a game once with a group of women, and that was back in the day when I used to carry a purse that almost had everything in it. And so it's, they give you a list and you have to try to find everything that's out of your purse that's on the list, and that's how you get. But with that, this idea would be more like a treasure hunt, and you could have a list of things and they could have to run and go get them and show them within a certain time frame. Like everybody could be running around and then coming back to the Zoom meeting and flashing it when they get it, so.
Yeah. And then we have an activity for teamwork. So this is the activity. It's called Lost at Sea, and you could break them out. If you're using Zoom or something, you could do like breakout rooms. So you give them the prompt where they're lost at sea, and there's 15 items, and they have to prioritize which items they're going to keep with them. And then in the end, you relate it back to what the Coast Guard actually says that you should be keeping if you were lost like this. But the first thing is that there's like a chart that you rank those individually, and then you break them out into their groups, and they talk about it and have to come to a consensus as a group. So it's really working on that teamwork to help, negotiate and decide. And these are the different things that they have to decide whether they're going to keep a sextant, shaving mirror, mosquito netting, like all these different things. So they rank them individually, they discuss it as a group, and then you compare it to what the Coast Guard actually says you should keep.
And Lisa, somebody might be saying, what is a sextant?
A sextant is this tool that I only know this because Toni asked me the same thing and I had to look it up. So a sextant is a tool that like checks the angles of the, I don't know, checks the angles from like the horizon to,
Yeah.
it like checks the angles. So.
Pam said it's a restaurant on the Columbia.
Yes.
Before you go any further, we have a joke in the chat that Elizabeth, oops, I lost it here. Elizabeth Kintz has, and she said that her 7-year-old granddaughter told it to her yesterday, and I will read it to you. What do you call an owl in armor?
I don't know, Toni. What do you call an owl in armor?
A night owl. Thanks.
Cute.
Thanks for sharing that.
Yes.
Let's see. You would also need to know how to use that sextant.
True. That is very accurate. So what do you guys think the top thing is that you're supposed to keep with you from this list that the Coast Guard would say?
Kim says water. A mirror from Shannon.
Chocolate bars.
What'd you say?
Chocolate bars. Chocolate bars.
The maps?
Rum.
Is rum on there? I don't know. Oh,
I don't know if it is.
Got it.
Somebody said maps. The sextant, netting, the fish kit and the pole, chocolate.
So I'll tell you, chocolate is listed as number 6 from the Coast Guard.
I was shocked.
Number 1.
Wow, 6. Wow.
Yeah.
Plastic sheeting. Where's the life preserver? Somebody said, and rope.
Rope.
So, what was it, Shannon or Sharon? What was it?
I don't know. Let's see. I'm scrolling. Shannon said mirror.
Shannon, you are correct. That's the number 1 thing the Coast Guard says you should keep. Only because you can use it to get people's attention pretty far away from using the sunlight in the mirror to direct people towards you. Anyway, it's pretty fun activity.
You will receive your non-prize in the near future.
Your prize is pat yourself on the back. Good job. Okay, and then the last kind of thing we just wanted to throw out there, every summer during SWIFT, we have the students do this safety awareness training. It is free training from OSHA, and it helps them understand safety at workplaces. So it's maybe something that you want to check out and have them do.
So I know that earlier somebody had mentioned in the chat box, I think it was Susan Collins, about Explore Work. So if you guys want to check out the Explore Work, it's explore-work.com. And it has some great pre-ets, self-journaling and some great activities in there. And I've actually been using that and on, because we're meeting with students on Zoom, and I let the student open it up and they control it. So they're putting their answers in, they're doing it. And I think that's the best way I've found so far, is to allow them, I read along and I do it with them, but they're the ones in charge of it. And then they send me that they've completed it. So that works out really well. Any questions?
Any questions?
Let's see. We have another joke.
Yes.
You ready?
Yep.
A vision impaired person, I hope this is a good joke. I'm just reading it. A vision impaired person walks into a bar with his seeing eye dog and starts swinging the dog around. The bartender says, "Sir, what are you doing?" Guys say, "Just looking around." Oh, I got it.
The dog is looking.
Dogs. Yeah. And Kim says, "Where do I learn how to use a sextant?"
The Coast Guard.
Oh. Yes, the Coast Guard. Kim, you're close enough. You can figure that out.
Right.
Seaside. Well, we really just wanted to share with you guys some things that we've kind of been doing for a couple years, and there's more, but yeah, some more ideas. It's always fun to see what other people are doing, I think.
It gets your creative juices flowing. You can utilize some of this stuff or come up with your own things as well. So
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That's okay.
Well, if there's no other questions, then we appreciate you guys listening today and hope you have a great Thursday afternoon and a good Memorial Day on Monday.
Days off. Ooh, okay. You're welcome. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
It's good. Check with us if you have any questions.
Thanks. Dang, I missed the whole meeting though. I just done with 2 IEP meetings and it's like, oh, I came on, you guys go bye. I'm like, oh.
They're recorded. It's recorded so you can listen to it.
Yay.
See you later.
Bye.
Thanks.
Okay, I'll get off. You guys have a great day.
You too. Thanks, Tony.
Bye, Tony.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Have fun. Oh.
Dearly beloved.
Go ahead and stop the record, Garrett, if you haven't done so, or whoever.